thinking back over the 37 years of my life, over a lot of the things that I love about Christmas and have loved my entire life, a lot of different things came to mind. Some of those things were, first of all, just a lot of the trimmings and things that are added and part of the celebration. Wreaths, trees, and ornaments, presents. All of these things that they weren't part of Bethlehem, the original story. They weren't there necessarily at the nativity scene that we're remembering today in Bethlehem, but there are things that we have added in order to celebrate even more fully, because now we have come over time to understand even more what it means. So all those things have always been special and important in a part of Christmas that I've loved. Another thing that came to mind is the lights. Right, going around, my family, particularly when I was younger, we always hopped in the car with Grandma and Grandpa, and we'd drive all over their town of Henderson, Kentucky, to check out all the different houses, right? And we would make noises if we really approved and clap really loudly and so forth. And we had all these crazy traditions. But the lights, it was really cool. We would go looking for the lights and the houses that we loved the best. And so lights for me always stick out as an important thing or a part of the celebration. I think music comes to mind. I always have special songs that I wait to listen to until Christmas arrives. But we hear those songs and instantly we're taken back to Christmas's past. And there's a real unique style, right, of Christmas music. It's kind of like when we hear it, no one's ever had a heavy metal Christmas song, right? I mean, we kind of, when we hear it, we're like, that's a Christmas song. And we hear it and we get excited because it reminds us of things in the past. I love nativity scenes. I always have, ever since I was a real little kid. I used to get in trouble, even before I can remember, for messing with the nativity scenes. I would put army men in with Jesus. I just thought he needed protection, right? To me, it was an honorary thing, but my parents saw it as me messing with stuff. But I loved it. I was fascinated with nativity scenes and the angels and the shepherds, and I would move them around and probably act out the play or whatever it might be. But I loved and still do love nativity scenes. I think of Christmas a lot of times too, particularly as I've gotten older. One of the things that I love about Christmas is that it reminds me of my family and friends who are no longer here. And that might sound sad, but for me, it's a beautiful thing. All of my grandparents have passed away. And for me, it's a beautiful time to remember all the things that we shared together, and to celebrate that, and to remember that with fondness, and to look back on that, and to recall them in a special way. Because of that time that we had together, I'm reminded of them. And again, I think that is a very good thing, and I cherish that. I also think of Christmas, I think of the smells that come with it. The pine trees and the cookies in the oven and all those sorts of things. But again, these are just some of the things that I cherish about my Christmases, the 37 of them that I've been blessed to have so far. The word Christmas is made up of two words, Christ and Mass. This is Christ's Mass that we celebrate today. And as I've grown older, what I've recognized, particularly as I've fallen more deeply in love with my Catholic faith, all those same things that I love about Christmas and have cherished since I was a little child are present at every Mass. Every time we celebrate the Mass, those things are there. And I think there is a reason. They are linked because Christmas is Christ's Mass. And I think sometimes we think of Mass on a regular basis as kind of boring. Here we are again. We were just here. Couldn't we be watching the Colts? Something along those lines. But I invite us to think about the fact that all those things that we love about Christmas are present every time we celebrate the Mass of Christ. Those extra things that are surrounding the celebration of Christmas that were not present in Bethlehem, all those things are present. Those are some of the beautiful things about Mass. There was no one wearing a vestment in the upper room at the Last Supper. There were no candles. There was no altar. None of those things were present. There were no churches. None of that stuff was there, and yet they add to the beauty of what we're doing. Many a heart has been moved by some of those things, the beauty of a church, the beauty of the music or whatever it might be. And so these things are not, sometimes it's described as being a problem with the Catholic Church. But I see it as exactly what I love about Christmas. Things that have been added to enhance our celebration. Just as I love the lights driving around all over town around Christmas time, I love at Mass, we talk about the candles, the lights. Those reminders of the burning presence of Christ is real and alive here. So we have these candles all over our Catholic churches to remind us of that. Just like there's a special and unique sort of music that is appropriate for Christmas and instantly draws us back in, we too as Catholics, we have that particular type of music that is appropriate for us at the Mass. That when we hear it, we are reminded this is something slightly different than what I hear on the radio. This is something special and unique that's going on here. Just as I love nativity scenes, I love the Catholic Church. We are surrounded by statues all over the place. Stations of the Cross, St. Paul, St. Peter, St. Mary, St. Joseph, etc., etc. I love that. It's remind me, we do not worship the statues, but we are reminded of these great people who continue to pray for us. Just as they excite us in the nativity scene, we have them year-round. Just as Christmas reminds me of those who have passed, the Mass is a special way every time we pray for all of our family and friends who have passed. And we remember them at the altar. St. Monica, in one of her last requests, her dying request to her son, St. Augustine, was to remember me at the altar of the Mass. And just as the smells of Christmas have a special place in our heart, the smells of incense and the making holy and a reminder of our prayers rising up to God, too, for me is a very powerful reminder of the presence of Christ and a reminder of the Mass. My point to that is, what we like about Christmas is available to us year-round. And I think that we can get swept up in the excitement of the season, and that's great. And that's awesome, and there's beauty in that. But I think we are also invited to a small challenge that Charles Dickens says about Ebenezer Scrooge in The Christmas Carol, at the end, after he's gone through his conversion. He says, what made Scrooge awesome was that he kept Christmas. He kept Christmas. At this parish, Christ's Mass is being kept year-round. And because of that, we see amazing things flowing from that. Amazing things taking place because of the celebration of Christ's Mass. This year, just to name a couple of things, a small snapshot, we've had 245 Masses here this year. We've had retreats for our middle school, our high school. We've had 2 women's retreats and a men's retreat. 30 Bible studies, 146 hours of adoration, 70 hours of confession, 18 parishioners who went to World Youth Day to be with Pope Francis and visited Rome. We've had life chain and prayer vigils, blood drives, Spanish Mass for our Hispanic community on Our Lady of Guadalupe, lessons and carols, 50 families who've been visited and assisted through St. Vincent de Paul. We've visited 10 to 15 shut-ins every week, bringing them Holy Communion. Not just me, mostly all of you doing that. We have celebrated feast days of Saints Peter and Paul and Oktoberfest. We've had 60 young people receive religious education every Sunday. We've had another 20 high school students who participate in religious ed online. Right? Weekly RCIA classes, all of these amazing things, this amazing ministry that's going on from parishioners going to minister at the prison. I'm able to go over there some to offer Masses monthly. And this is just a small snapshot. I know that so many of us are also active in other ways because of what we've celebrated the Mass. Flowing out of that is your activity and your action at the homeless shelters and the food pantries and your witness to your fellow friends and co-workers at work and your raising of your children and the ways that you love each other in your marriages. And all of this stuff flows not just from this Mass, but from all of them. And we're all invited to keep Christmas year-round. And I've seen amazing things among us as we've done that. And I've seen things thriving here. Our second reading, it says, as a bridegroom rejoices in his bride, so shall your God rejoice in you. I think God looks upon all the things and all the people that we are becoming and all the amazing graces and activities and actions and prayers that flow from that, and He rejoices in what He finds here. If you would like to get more involved in our parish, just let me know. I'm happy to meet with anybody who would like to get more active, looking for ways to deepen their relationship, get plugged in to some sort of way to serve the poor, to go to the margins, as Pope Francis says, or to deepen in your faith or receive spiritual direction, have your home blessed, whatever it might be. In the Gospel it says the Virgin will conceive and bear a son, and they will name him Emmanuel, which means God is with us. And God is with us here in this place. He's in the Blessed Sacrament that is available at every Mass, all 245 of them. God is also with us in each other, present in the lives and in the hearts of each person. We reverence that and treat one another with dignity. And God is with us in those whom we help and serve with our abundance. It was said at the end of the Christmas carol that it was always said of Scrooge that he knew how to keep Christmas well if any person alive possessed the knowledge. And Dickens ends, I think, as it is right for us to end this reflection on Christ's mercy as well. May that truly be said of us.